Hello folks, how you doing? It's your friend Phil here, project management trainer and coach. I hope you're doing awesome. How is your week going? You got a few days left till the end of June, and some of you have a target to get this thing done, to get certified either as a PMP or as a CAPM before the end of June. So my question to you is, how's that going? Are you keeping on track? Or have you fallen off the proverbial wagon? I hope you haven't fallen off the wagon. Remember, I'm here to support you. In fact, the main reason why I do these touch points is to ensure that everyone is still in the zone. Trying to make sure that everyone is still doing what they should be doing. Make sure that you're still on track. Make sure you're still hitting it. Make sure that you're showing up for your PMP prep. So how is that going? Do you have any questions for me? Because if you don't have any questions for me, it will be an extremely quick meeting. I'll just give you a few reminders, a few pointers as to how to study to make sure that you're keeping on track. So I got an email from our friends at the PMI. Thank you to Tara, who shares this information with us registered education providers. But there are currently 871 plus thousand PMPs in the world. That is pretty cool. That's pretty amazing. This has been a journey for lots of years now, and we're getting to the point where we're almost at a million people in the world. We're getting to that point where we've got 1 million people. Can you imagine that? 1 million people is quite remarkable. We'll probably get to that point, I'm guessing, maybe towards the end of this year, if I'm not being too optimistic. Worst case scenario, Q1 next year, we'll probably have 1 million people who are PMPs. So if you're thinking of getting certified, that is a very important thing to keep in your mind. You're in good company. Charlene, how you doing? Charlene, are you studying for the PMP exam? Are you on track? Are you hitting the books hard? I hope you're still on course. I hope you're doing what you need to do. I hope you are, hitting everything as you planned out. My question again to some other folks is, have you guys got a plan? Do you have a plan for studying? Some people find themselves right in the middle of getting ready for the exam and they don't have a plan. Follow my mantra, a knowledge area a day keeps the PMP blues away. You don't want to have the PMP blues, you don't want to be singing the song of woe. I wish I had. You don't want to be like that, because a lot of people, unfortunately, it's the truth. They find themselves getting ready for the exam and they don't have a plan. And that's no good. It's no good to not have a plan. So I want to encourage you, have a plan for where you're going. Have a plan for what you're doing. So chat into me. I'm going to wait for a few chats. I know Charlene started chatting in a few things here and there. So you said fallen, and then you typed in procurement bid. Can you explain what you would like me to talk about, Charlene? Can you give me some pointers? Tell me what you want me to talk about. Otherwise, I'm just going to assume that you want me to talk generally about this stuff. Is there anything in particular that you would like me to talk about regarding the procurement area on the exam? I will speak about whatever you want. Remember, the reason why I have this touch point meeting is to touch points with people like you getting ready for the exam. But if there are no questions, I think my little friend over here may have a few words of wisdom. Have you got any words of wisdom, Mr. Stormtrooper?
I've got my gear, ready to take on the rebels.
He's got his gear and he's ready to take on the rebels. Ready to take on the rebels at the test center. Anything else? Oh, he's glowing red. It means he's ready for action.
Let's move.
He said, let's move. I don't know how many of you guys can say that, but my Stormtrooper friend, he's ready for action and he wants to move. He wants to get into the groove. So let's see, any other questions? Let me try and answer a few things. Charlene says, you need a plan. Good. I'm glad you need a plan.
Awaiting orders, Commander.
And my Stormtrooper friend is awaiting orders. And, you know, if you don't have a plan, you're going to be facing this creature. This creature called PMP. You're going to be facing him on the exam. You need a plan. So a knowledge area a day keeps the PMP blues away. When you boil down the PMBOK guide, apart from chapters 1, 2, and 3, it's all about the knowledge areas, right? Because from 4 to 13 is all about the knowledge areas. So let me give you a few ideas, Charlene. Let me give you a few ideas. First of all, establish a base, okay? So chapters 1, 2, and 3 should be read and understood before anything else. So chapter 1 is all of your base definitions, core definitions, core concepts. You can do that in a day. So let's say you start off next week, Monday. Chapter 1, read that, go through it, mark it up. Make sure by the time you're done, you understand projects, project management, programs, program management, portfolios, portfolio management, operations, operations management. The whole idea of projects being implemented because of the need for change. Make sure you understand that. And everything else associated with project management as it is dished out in chapter 1, the high level given on page 25, just understanding the nuts and bolts. Page 25 up front, understanding the framework, what exactly are they trying to present here is good, but don't get bogged down by trying to memorize that page right off the bat. Then go to chapter 2 on Tuesday. Understand the environment in which projects operate. Know what the PMI are talking about when they talk about project environments, when they talk about EEFs, enterprise environmental factors, when they talk about organizational process assets, and then understand what it means when we say organizational systems, understanding the way organizations are formed, understanding organizational structure, and realizing that all of these impact the projects that are carried out in an organization. Then know your organization types. What exactly do they mean? You know, organic versus functional versus matrix, the different types of matrix. Project-oriented, PMOs, all of that stuff, make sure you know it. Make sure you know the different types of PMOs and understanding, you know, in general, how projects are birthed in firms. You know, understanding that this is not the meat of your exam, but it's a very important base. Okay, so that's Tuesday. Wednesday, the role of the project manager, chapter 3. Okay, this is where you're learning all about why the project manager has a job. What is the project manager meant to do? And how is the project manager meant to manage? That's Wednesday, okay? How is the project manager meant to lead? Understanding leadership and the power types. Now, this could be on your exam. This aspect of project management, all about leadership, leadership styles of the project manager, powers of the project manager, all of that stuff, it is fair game for your exam. So that's day 3, okay? I believe you can cover chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3 in those 3 days, okay? Now, on our learning management system, we have specific videos that cover this. So for people that are on the Praizion.com system, it's a matter of opening up your laptop and just watch the video. Watch the video, you know, go through the book as I'm telling you to open up certain aspects. Go through the book, highlight, you know, And every day, I'm telling you, if you put in roughly 3 to 4 hours on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, you should be able to sufficiently cover chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. And the good news for those that are on the system, you actually get to take a quiz to kick the tires and see, do I really understand what I read, what I looked at? So that's a very important component, Charlene. So my question to you, Charlene, is what system are you using? And do you have the ability to take quizzes? Because this bad boy right here, he's going to be waiting to quiz you at the test center. He's going to be the person you see at the test center. So you need to make sure all throughout your studying that you are able to answer questions, at least standard questions, standard questions. Monique. Oh, Monique, how are you doing, Monique? Very good to see you. So Monique, your book, those of you who don't know, we got a book like this that Monique is going to be getting in a few days. Some days you're going to get this book, and this will further help you, Monique. So in the meantime, though, you also want to be adding, Monique, you want to be adding your friend, this one. I hope it's your friend. You're meant to be adding this one to the mix. But Monique, how is your studying coming along? Because from the last email to a colleague of mine, you were waiting for the book, but have you started off using the PMBOK guide at least? I'm curious to know how you are proceeding with that. In fact, I think when I get off this call, I have to send you, there's some other information, regarding the course that I think will really help you. Just some additional information here and there. So I'll be sending that to you. I'm not sure if I have invited you to our Saturday's meeting, but please, if I haven't invited you, Monique, please send me an email reminder. I'm so glad you're on, because on Saturday, we're having a meeting with Lindsay, one of our PMP gurus who has killed the 6th edition exam. So she's going to be sharing her lessons learned, and these are going to be powerful. I mean, this is one of my A gamers, one of my first students who killed our mock exam, based on the 6th edition. So you definitely want to be there. You don't want to miss it. So send an email. You can send it to support@praizion.com, Monique. This is exclusively for our students. So Monique, I'm glad you came on, but please send that email so that if I have not already invited you for Lindsay's meeting, I want to do that. Okay. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you should be able to clear chapters 1 to 3. Charlene, on Thursday, this is where the meat begins. This is where you begin to dig into chapter 4. Now, chapter 4 might take you all of about 2 days. I don't think you're going to be able to, in all honesty, polish up as I would like chapter 4 in just 1 day. It's a beast. It's got 7 processes. It's like double the size of communications, you see. So I think we should give you 2 days for integration, another 2 days for scope, because scope is also very bulky. It's got a lot of sub techniques when it comes to collecting requirements. So you want to make sure you dig into those. For those struggling with the tools and techniques, you might want to look at my video from yesterday. I've got some advice and a totally different track for that, for tools and techniques. But the tools and techniques in collect requirements, I'm going to give it about, a couple of hours for you to really do justice to all of those tools and techniques across scope, not to mention the inputs and outputs. So I'm going to give you 2 days for scope. All right, so 2 days for integration, 2 days for scope, 2 days for schedule as well. Give yourself time for schedule to marinate. If you have not been for a course in scheduling, Charlene, it's also going to be another of those time-consuming things that you have to go through and understand all of the logic, the network diagrams, forward passes, backward passes, solving problems. In fact, when I do this live, I actually end up going to 4 hours if I'm dealing with a class that has never been for scheduling training. Like the class I did last week, those guys, they actually did know quite a bit of scheduling. There were a few that didn't. But Colin, my colleague, he actually did the Microsoft project training with them for one full day, just MS project training. So they already had a head start, but I still spent going to about 3 hours with those guys. So it just goes to show you scheduling, there's no shortcut. You got to practice. You got to do the network diagrams. So 2 days for scheduling as well. The next 2 days is going to be cost. So I'm sorry, another 2 days. Charlene, you're going to have to do another 2 days for cost. Okay, so integration, scope, schedule, cost, 2 days apiece. So you can see that's already eaten 8 days, but it is very important that you do it layer by layer. Monique, who's on our course, my suggestion, Monique, those videos, bit by bit, don't rush them. Just go through them. Make sure you're taking notes. Make sure you're in the zone. Make sure you're digesting the content. And it's going to be a lot better than just rushing through. I can't imagine how someone could spend 2 hours, to go through any of these chapters I'm talking about. It's almost impossible, no matter how good you are, because you still need to leave time aside for quizzes and notes and stopping videos and rewinding videos and taking a look at videos again. Right, Pimpy? That's right. I think he agrees. And then we move on to quality. Quality, I think, based on how PMI have scaled it down, you should be able to do it in about a day and a half. Resources, I would say a day and a half for that as well. And when I say a day and a half, I don't mean you're studying all day. Typical day, PMs who go to work can put in roughly 4 to 5 hours. So when I say a day, I'm talking about roughly 4 hours. When I say 2 days, I'm talking about 8 hours. I'm talking about sitting down and being in the zone, you see. So resources, about a day and a half. Communications, I would expect you to be able to do that in a day. I would expect you come back to all of this stuff, even after you've laid a solid foundation. So what I'm talking about is laying that firm, reinforced foundation. This is by no means, attack it once and forget it. No, you're going to have to study in layers. So I'm giving you another day and a half, really, for the entire communications. But for this first pass, I would say a full day should be able to take you through that. Risk, definitely 2 days. Procurement, I would say a day. Stakeholder, I would say a day. And then the code of ethics, I would say also put aside a day to go through that. And when I say a day, like I said, it's 4 hours. All you're doing is that, hitting it hard, and I'm expecting you can put in 4 hours. So if you multiply all of these hours up, so let's count. 4, 4, 4, that's 12. And then 8, 8, 8, 8, that's 32, because we're talking about integration, scope, schedule, cost. So if you do 8 hours for all of those, that's 32, plus the 12, that's 44 already. Going into quality and resources, that's 3, that's like 45 hours. Communications, 46, 54 for risk, 58 procurement, roughly 62 hours, roughly, to build a solid foundation. Now, bear in mind, this is also largely dependent on how much you've done in the classroom. So if your classroom course or your online course is helping you fill in the gaps, you could end up spending less time. But I'm just saying, let's say you came on our system and you really were slowing things down and doing things the right way, reading, making notes and stuff, I would expect that you can get this done, you know, in the time frame I'm saying, you know. If someone didn't go to work and all they did was studying, I believe 1.5 weeks is great to be in the zone. I've helped quite a few students. Some students who failed the first time, trying to do it again, you know, they stayed in the zone, and within a week, they passed the exam. Some people who had not done well. So to build a really firm foundation, you know, I'm giving it a week and a half, being in the zone, studying, doing what you need to. All right, so let me go over it one more time. Chapters 1, 2, and 3, a day each. Chapters 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 days each. Chapter 8, a day and a half. Chapter 9, a day and a half. Chapter 10, 1 day. Chapter 11, 2 days. Chapter 12, 1 day. Chapter 13, 1 day. With that, taking quizzes, doing, you know, when I say studying, it must have all those ingredients. Reading the book or text, either the PMBOK guide or the other text I showed you, making sure you're highlighting, making sure you are taking notes, and making sure you're doing quizzes. If you do all of those things, you know, I think it could really help build a very firm foundation. All right? And he knows. He knows. He's trembling. If you do what I'm telling you to do, he's going to be toast on the exam. All right, so that would be my 2 cents, Charlene. I hope that helped you, you know, get some ideas. So Charlene, to be in our meetings that we have, you actually need to be on any of our programs. Either you are on the PMP Power Review, or you're on PMP Prep Camp, or you're on some other program. You know, just last night I put out the Tools and Techniques Turbo, and I can actually put that here in the chat. But Tools and Techniques Turbo came out last night, and it currently is going for a ridiculously cool 50% off until the 23rd. So this curriculum, it covers all of the tools and techniques. So if you want to be on any, you know, of these calls that we do, all we ask is sign up for one of our programs. If you take a look at the link I'm sharing here, it takes you to the product. But just so you know, we had a video out last night with a lot of links for 50% off. So let me chat that into you here, so that if you are interested in getting that, you can just look in the description field for the videos that came out last night, and you can end up getting that for 50% off, and then you'll be able to join any of these exclusive meetings. So all we ask, you know, is that students sign up for any of the curricula, and then they can be part of these Saturday meetings. But we do require a subscription to do that. Biren, how are you doing? Biren said preparing for page 25. Oh, he's telling you because he is a PMP. Okay. He's telling you that you should do page 25. Hit page 25. Thank you very much. Monique, I'm glad to see you are studying and you are in the zone. The 40 Days to PMP series is coming up soon. That is going to be one of our next products. So right now we're rolling out a series of products. Tools and Techniques Turbo is one that came out last night. The one with the Risk Doctor, that's going to be available on the 25th of June. But really people can actually see the preview on Vimeo. We also have the Project Management Audio Digest, which is like 18 hours of solid instruction, all audio. So, you know, entirely for those who learn by audio, that is coming out soon as well. So we got a lot of things in the mix. Yes. So let me share a few things with you, you know, before I close for the evening, let me share with you maybe a couple of things to help you in your studying. Okay, so assuming you're studying an area such as direct and managed project work, okay, you're studying direct and managed project work. Let me just give you some ideas on how I would like you to be in the zone for something like this. So in direct and managed project work, what we're really doing is executing the work in the project management plan at a high level, but getting into the details, the nitty-gritty of what exactly we're doing, you would have to open up the mothership, the PMBOK guide. I call it the mothership. You would have to open that up and you would have to read what exactly is being done in detail. Over the years of teaching this thing, I have found that it is extremely important to be in the zone, when studying any area. So if you're studying direct and managed project work, for example, you need to open the mothership, okay? So my approach would be to watch the video. So Monique, for you, it would be to watch our video because as you know, every process is broken out into a separate video, okay? So you would watch the video, and of course, all through you hear me referring to various pages in the PMBOK guide. One of these pages, so if I was studying this, I would go to page 90 in the PMBOK guide, and it reads, direct and managed project work is the process of leading. So that word is very important. Leading and performing the work. Did you notice it didn't say directing and managing the work? It's giving you an even more vivid picture of what is being done. Leading and performing the work defined in the project management plan. So the project manager is leading and in a lot of instances not performing the work in isolation. There's a team, doing what is referred to as performing the work. And it says, and implementing approved changes. So leading, performing, and implementing approved changes to achieve the project's objectives. It says the key benefit of this process is that it provides overall management of the project work and deliverables, thus improving the probability of project success. This process is performed throughout the project. The inputs, tools, techniques, so on, are in figure 4-6, and figure 4-7 shows you the data flow. So for me, what I would do if I was reading this, when I get to figure 4-6, I'm going to pause everything going on and I'm going to zero in, laser focused into this table. Now, I want to show you the different levels that you can explore this table at. I'll show you the different levels that you can explore this table at. So if you're looking at this table at the first level, I would refer to it as the first level. The first level of this table is a high level. And at this high level, you need to look on top of the sub-ITTOs. You don't want to get bogged down with the sub-ITTOs just yet, okay? You want to be at this higher level first, okay? So at this higher level, at this much higher level, which is captured on that page, that first figure 4-1, which is on page 71 of the PMBOK guide. This is the first level. When you are being introduced to any process, this is what you want to look at. So you first of all want to look at the inputs. Looking at the inputs, is there anything that jumps out at you as an unknown? something that you haven't really gained sufficient knowledge on. So if you're following the process, by the time you get to this page, you should already know, you should already know the project management plan. You should already know page 89, which shows you the project management plan and project documents. So when you see project management plan, project documents, you should feel comfortable with that, okay? So at this point, no need to open up anything further. You know what those are. Then you get to approved change request. So looking at approved change request, which is the third input, do you know what that is? And if you feel, oh, I don't know what that is, or if by simple reasoning, you know what it is, don't waste time there. Move to the next one. EEFs, you know what that is. OPAs, you know what that is. You're beginning to feel more confident. Oh, this is not really that big a deal. They're inputs. I'm very comfortable with that. I know that an approved change request is a change request that has been approved by some authority, whether it's the PM or the sponsor or the CCB. You know that it's been approved at some level. Typically, we think about the CCB. Now we go to the tools and techniques. So take a look at the tools and techniques. Expert judgment, you know what that is. PMIS, do you know what that is? If you're beginning to feel, I've got an idea, but I don't really feel confident, at that point, if I were you, that's when I'll open this. And if you take a look at my PMBOK guide, you can see I have highlighted my PMIS because it's one of those that could be a variety of things. So I would go to page 95, hone in, and read it. And it says the PMIS provides access. The Project Management Information System provides access to information technology software tools such as scheduling software tools, work authorization systems, configuration management systems, information collection and distribution systems, as well as interfaces to other online automated systems such as corporate knowledge base repositories, which you should already know, by the way, from chapter 2. It says automated gathering and reporting on key performance indicators can be part of this system. So by the time you get here, if you're now comfortable, move on. But if you feel, oh my goodness, what on earth is a work authorization system? Well, you need to go look for it. And this is where the advantage of having a PDF copy of the PMBOK guide comes into play. But if I were you, the right thing to do, let's say that stumped you and you don't know what a WAS is, you want to go to the glossary, and look for it. Work authorization system, does it exist in the glossary? Unfortunately, the PMI has not explained it here. So you want to go to the index and see if you can get help from the index. Work authorization system is not here either, unfortunately. So the WAS, if you search the PMI's, I don't know, their lexicon of terms, that'll be the next point of call. But if you don't know what a WAS is, you can always feel free to ask Phil on this channel. If you come across anything that you're like, I can't find it in the PMBOK guide, just let me know, and then I'll look for a PMI reference document for you, or I'll give you my own explanation. So a work authorization system is just a system for authorizing work in a systematic manner so that you are actually working on something that has been authorized. Different companies have these. Sometimes you need a charge number, a charge code in order for work to be authorized. So whatever the organization, there's usually a system for authorizing work, and that's all they're referring to. And they're saying those systems, along with everything else, can be part of the PMIS. You see where I'm going? If you get to anything you don't know, you need to stop, look for it. If you can't find it, you need to ask for help. And I say send in an email or send in a chat to a video like this saying, Phil, I read this in the PMBOK guide and I cannot find it. And I'll be more than happy to look for it for you because I'm sure a lot of other students have the same question. And if I answer your question, then I could be helping a lot of other people in the process. And that's why I usually post questions from students on the channel. You see, so my approach to studying is to do it in a modular fashion. Take a process like the one on the screen, direct and manage project work. Do I understand expert judgment? Do I understand PMIS? Do I understand meetings? Of course, I do this all day long. And then you move on to the outputs, deliverables, products, services, or results. WPD, do you really know the essence of WPD? Issue log, do you know what that is? It's a log of issues on the project. Now, if you feel, oh, I don't know what that is, open it up, check it. But you're gonna have to go through this. My main point is you have to go through these with a fine-tooth comb, and at the end of the day, it pays off. We don't want to be like those students that just go through everything at a high level. Oh, it all looks good. No, one by one. And a test could be, can you explain this back to yourself? All right. Now, this is just level 1. Now, when you're done going through all of this stuff at that high level, the next step is to go deeper, to mine deeper. So to mine deeper, that is when you really hone in on what you've got on page 90. What you've got on page 90, this one right here, that is when you actually go more aggressively into it. So as you open that up and you take a look at project documents, it now becomes more specific to the change log, to the lessons learned register, to the milestone list, to all of this detail. And that's why in our training on the PMP exam power review, a separate curricula, we cover every single one of these inputs, tools and techniques, and all at once, and it takes a long time to go through every one, but you want to make sure you know all of these, change log, lessons learned register, milestones, so that once you've covered it, in this process, if you saw it somewhere else, you're going to know it. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I've read that. And it becomes a cumulative thing. It's like you're accumulating a wealth of information regarding the PMBOK guide, process by process. But you have to be patient and you have to go through the process. You see, next one here would be on the outputs. Project documents updates. So we've got activity list, assumption log. You see where I'm going? So we covered it at a very high level at first. Get comfortable with that. And then go down to level 2, the sub ITTOs. And when you've covered all of those in sufficient detail, I would like you to then study this. You see, study that data flow diagram in detail. Make sure you understand where everything is coming from, where everything is going. And at a minimum, I would like you to replicate that data flow diagram with the core inputs. The core inputs. I want you to take a strong look at these inputs, folks. Project management plan, project documents, EEFs and OPAs is almost, I didn't say completely, almost boilerplate on every process within planning and even across the other areas. You're bound to see project management plan in almost every process, except develop project charter and develop project management plan itself. You're always going to see project management plan as an input. You're always, almost always going to see project documents as another input, because whether it's an output from a previous process, it's encapsulated in project documents. So you can expect to see these along with our 2 regulars, EEFs and OPAs, So when you get used to this kind of thing, you get into a rhythm, a pattern. So you study a process, you go to the next one. It doesn't look as foreign, doesn't look as alien. You knock it out of the park even quicker. So you begin to experience that cumulative effect, of studying a PMBOK guide. And before you know it, you're getting to the point where you are very comfortable seen these numerous tools, techniques, inputs, outputs. You know, only very rarely does anything throw you completely off. You see. So that is pretty much what I have, you know, folks, for tonight. You know, I just want to encourage you to stay in the zone, you know, um, keep studying, don't give up, and put in the due diligence. Remember, 871,893, that's 871,893 people are currently PMPs in the world. Quite a remarkable number, if you ask me, you know. So be encouraged, don't give up, keep on studying. And now would be, you know, a good time for any questions. But before I take those questions, one more thing. I just remembered I got some really helpful information from a student. And this student of mine is a captain in the US Air Force, trained this class in December. And this student of mine got certified and has dropped some goals. So I'm going to see if I can pull up that goals that was shared. And I think you might benefit from it. Although all of a sudden it seems as if my internet has gone crazy. It seems as if Pimpy and his hordes are trying to prevent me from sharing this information. This is hilarious. But I'm going to try to pull it up anyway. Hold on. Let's see. When your computer fails, what do? You use your cell phone, right? Let's see if I can pull this up on my cell phone. Oh, it seems like the internet is cooperating again. So hold on, I'll try and bring it up for you. Every little bit counts, doesn't it? You know, you never know. I know there's so many people that have taken this exam, but all it takes is one person's gold, you know, to totally alter one's perception or one's exam experience. So hang tight. It seems like this isn't working. All right, I don't want to keep you. What I'll probably do is I will share this on a different call because my internet connection just seems to have gone totally bonkers. All of a sudden. It's unbelievable. That's when you want to share the good stuff. All right. So let me go on to your questions now. Since unfortunately I'm not able to share this with you for some very odd DNS reason, domain name server, something like that. Let me take your questions, if there are any. Fabian, good to see you online. So Fabian says, picked up that whiteboard this evening. Great job, man. Great job. And you know, daily share with me once in a while what your time is, you know, how many minutes you've got it down to. And Fabian, of course, you know, your book is also on the way. Look out for some additional information. So Monique and Fabian, look out for some additional information. Fabian, did you get the email inviting you to the Saturday session? I think you should have. I'm hoping you did get an email. Did you? If you didn't get the email inviting you to Saturday's session, make sure you send us an email to prompt us on that. Okay. And with that, we have come to the end, folks, of our PMP touch point. Feel free to send any additional queries, questions you might have. I'll be more than happy to answer them, even outside of this forum. All right. So, yeah, thank you very much. And I'll be speaking to you guys again sometime next week. Next week, I'll come with the lessons. It's unfortunate, it's still acting up and not letting me share or not letting me see what my student has shared. But next week is always another time. Okay, so thank you very much. I wish you all the best in your PMP prep, in your PMP journey. Don't forget, if you're looking to sign up for a course that will really help you, that will, take you to the next level of your PMP journey, don't forget to go to www.praizion.com and then hit the training tab and take a look at the various options. Some options are great for people who need the whole 35 hours. Some options are good for people who are trying to power up. And that's where the power review comes into play, Or people just starting out from ground zero, no idea about the PMBOK guide. They want to get into it, but they want to study it effectively. That would be understanding the guide. And some people, they have no other problem but tools and techniques. That will be tool and technique turbo. All right, so go to Praizion, PRAIZION.com, hit that training tab, and you'll be able to see all this information I'm telling you about. Okay, thank you very much for your audience, and bye for now.